Hendrick Motorsports team president Jeff Andrews says of Chase, "It was an accident. Our guys have to go out and live their life." After Elliott fractured his tibia in a snowboarding accident. And Jordan, I am throwing you into the fire. Spot on, spot off.
Spot off. I say this, if I'm a NASCAR team owner, I am protecting my drivers in bubble wrap, and I do not want them to do any extracurricular activities where they could get hurt. Because I look at the situation with the 9 team right now, and if I'm Napa, all of a sudden my driver, who I've invested millions in, there's a possibility, maybe it's small, but it's still a possibility now that he's not going to make the playoffs. He's not going to be able to compete for the championship. That's a frustrating situation. And I understand that drivers have to live their life. And I understand that they need an outlet to get out and get away from the stress. But there are other ways to do that other than doing extracurricular sports that bring a high risk to it. And I understand that Chase has been doing this for a long time. He's good at snowboarding. He's used to it. I understand all that. But it's still a risk, and it's an unnecessary risk. And in this day and age, with all of the money and the investment and everything else and everything on his shoulders, on the organization that's put on him, I just cannot justify drivers going out and doing these kind of things. I understand you've got to get away from things, that play golf, do something else, recreational, that doesn't put you at a heightened risk to get hurt.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, I'm on the fence here so bad. I feel like TJ. I'm of the opinion guys should live their life. I feel like you should put it in the hands. I don't know if it needs to be contractual, but I feel like you should put it in the hands of the driver to be smart enough to not put yourself at risk. And do I have a problem with him going snowboarding? Not really. Do I have a problem with him going snowboarding the day before practice? Probably less than 24 hours before practice? Maybe. Now, it wouldn't have mattered if he broke his leg on Monday or Tuesday.
He's still going to be out.
He's still going to be out. But, I see my stuff, and I'm sure Brett's did too. Twitter, everything blew up with, I guess you got your one idiot for the week. What an idiot.
No,
and I don't think, listen, if you love snowboarding, do it in December, or and
that's my thing.
And I get it. The thing that really cracked me up about this, literally blew up hundreds of tweets and stuff about, there's your what an idiot, how could he do this? The guy ran a midget at the Chili Bowl. He ran a midget a bunch of times last year. With no experience, whatsoever, just jumped in a midget and went, which I think is one of the most dangerous forms of racing that we have in this country. And every time I saw him race, there was a line of people waiting for an autograph. While they were there, were they shouting at him, "You're an idiot for doing this because you're jeopardizing your season in the 9 car"? No. So if you're going to show up and support him at these dirt races when he's out there risking just as much you can say. He's trying to improve his racecraft, but I mean, you could just as easily. I mean, there's a reason why JGR basically told Christopher Bell last year, "You're done driving midgets after that race in Texas." Like, it's one of the most dangerous forms of racing that we have. And if you're not going to call him an idiot while he's out there running a midget, you can't really call him an idiot for skiing.
And to me, that's the juxtaposition of this. Is I understand the argument of Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell make of saying, "Hey, I need to go race these midget cars, these sprint cars, because it makes me a better driver on Sundays." I get all that, and I believe there's truth on that. But I also look at it and say, I also need to protect my investment. I do not need you on the sidelines. I need you in that race car on Sundays at 100% because we have so much counting on you, whether it's sponsorship, whether it's employees, whatever. We are expecting you to be in that race car 100%. And yeah, if you want to do these things, do it in the off season, right? And you look at other professional athletes in other sports, they have it in their contracts. You can't skydive, you can't ski, you can't snowboard, you can't do anything that you can potentially get hurt. You can't even ride a motorcycle, you know? And I look at it and say, why do we not have that same standard for race car drivers? And again, I want to see these guys go do other things because I do think it helps motorsports overall, but it brings risk, and there's a balance there. And I don't know what that balance is, but when it comes to snowboarding and skiing, and I keep going back to this example of Tony Stewart when he went off-road dune bugging before the season started and ended up breaking his back. It's like, that to me is unnecessary. Like, is it a heightened risk that you don't need to do when you have so much on your shoulders?
Yeah, and we talk about on here all the time, especially like when a guy's retiring or something. There's so many people so many people that are dependent on Chase Elliott. You know, whether it's his team, the families of his team, his PR people, his management people. You know, there's so many people that are dependent on him, sponsorship wise. And you put that all at risk. And obviously, you know, we know he's been. And I heard Jeff last night talking about like you could fall down the stairs and break your leg.
I hate that argument.
I feel like it's not the same if you're skiing down a mountain.
There's a heightened risk between like walking normally and I slip because I'm a klutz and I fall down the stairs versus I'm going to willingly go strap on a pair of skis or snowboard and down a mountain. Like there is a difference there. And yes, you can get hurt. You know, any walk of life. I mean, Carl Edwards, years ago, just was walking and he broke his foot, right? I mean, it happens. Denny Hamlin hurt himself playing basketball. I get all that. But again, don't put yourself in a situation where there is a greater risk. And I just feel like there's a balance there that needs to be a little bit better.
Yeah, and like I said, I think I don't want to see the contracts come out and just hammer these guys down. I just feel like I think it was Brad that said like, we don't have any restrictions on Christopher Busher. But we expect kind of, just a little bit of sensibility of, maybe pick the right times and the right things to do. Interestingly enough, I listened to the teardown last night. And I thought your waiver position was very interesting. Like, listen, we can talk about whether or not he's going to get one. He's going to get one.
He's going to get one.
Yeah, what's your give us a summary?
So I believe that NASCAR hands out waivers too easily. Like I believe that there should be a heightened standard for what constitutes a driver receiving a waiver. And in this instance, and again, I just want to say, Chase Elliott is going to get a waiver. If I was NASCAR, I'm looking at this saying, wait a second, you did something outside of NASCAR, you did something outside of motorsports in general, and you put yourself at risk. Why are we giving you a waiver for something that you decided to do? So I believe that NASCAR should maybe not, in every instance like they have been doing, hand out waivers.
Yeah, I mean, if you're never going to draw the line, like you know what I mean, like so, if instead of saying we're going to give out waivers, yes or no, like just say you can't take any weeks off because that's all this is. Yeah. This whole waiver system is designed so that if you got 5 wins, you don't want to go to Hawaii in the middle of the season.
But it's not going to happen because you're contracted to your owner. Your car owner is expecting you to be in that race car. No car owner is going to say, hey, you know what? You got 5 regular season wins. We'll see you in the playoffs.
But at the same time, our off season is what, like 2.5 months long, if that. Like, even if he were to break his leg or do whatever earlier, or Kyle Larson running Chili Bowl, if something were to happen, like, that doesn't even give enough time to heal because our offseason is so short.
It depends on when the injury is. It happens in December. I mean, how severe the injury is. If he's only going to miss, I've heard anywhere from 6 to 10 weeks, like, there's a window there. If it happens in November or December, he still could be healthy for the Daytona 500, or he's healthy enough to a point where he could get in the race car and at least start it or something at that level. I don't know. I just think the waiver policy is too open and too lax, and I just want to see guys a little bit more tougher standard.
I mean, they had I can't remember who it was off the top of my head. Maybe was it Sauter? Somebody got suspended.
Johnny Sauter at Iowa in 2019 got parked at Iowa for intentionally wrecking. I believe it was Austin Hill. Got suspended a race, and they gave him
they still gave him a waiver,
which is crazy. It's like you just did something that was, let's be honest, moronic. You intentionally wrecked somebody on a racetrack, and you got parked, and you got suspended for it. You deserve whatever consequences come your way.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just there is no. Has anybody ever been denied a waiver?
Not that I know of. I've heard whispers that it's happened, but nothing I feel comfortable saying publicly. But I do feel like I haven't heard anything.
Yeah. End of the day, Chase is getting a waiver no matter what.
I would be shocked.
Yeah, like there's no way he's not getting a waiver.